You applauded.
Approved. I was like, there you go. See, I knew what was going on. I'm on top of this shit. But like, I just want to say like the intro to this, like as again, like some of these films, like the introduction to the setup usually takes its time and is a bit slow, right? And it's everyone's just waiting for the fight to get there. So like, those early moments are a bit antsy, but like, there's a thing about this Marvel film is that you can just sell this on interactions alone. So just seeing Bruce Banner meet Wong and Doctor Strange, like, that's a treat in itself, right? Seeing like Strange meet face to face with Tony Stark,
their first interaction,
and that first reunion between Banner and Tony, like there's so much of like just treats going into that. That is like at this moment you're like, all right, we can just stay here for a while. You don't have to give me fighting or anything. Just like stay here and let me just enjoy these interactions, because you're seeing like interactions that you just like thought in theory, right? Probably like Tumblr like wish fulfillments. And then now you're seeing like come to light right in front of you on the screen.
Your OTP.
Yeah, I know, like it's like a real otaku moment that you're seeing played out right there.
I'm glad you mentioned that because when I was watching the film, I was telling my friend Jared, who watched the film with, I told him that this film is built like a shonen action anime.
Correct.
For the movie, it's the reason I made that statement is because if you look at Thanos' henchmen, the Black Order, his children.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know how strong Thanos is because he just kicks Hook's ass, right?
Yeah.
But then you realize, his fucking children are just as fucking dangerous.
Yes, because like
right?
the fights like the Ebony Maw and the Black Dwarf.
Jesus.
Like the way that they fought, like the trouble that it took them to fight them, it was like,
they can carry a film themselves.
Exactly. They could be like in any other Marvel film, like the Ebony Maw would be Doctor Strange's villain.
Yeah.
Because he was very tough to pin down, and he knew it. Yeah. Like it was, and again, like just like these films, right? I always say like Marvel films are very much set as if they were in our world. So there's a bit of like work that it takes to balance the mystical and magical aspect of it. But like the fact that you see like Ebony Maw just like flying through New York on a bed of rocks, just like
just casually,
like this fits so well. There's no part of this that makes it feel out of place. From when you see like Groot show up in Wakanda and he's like facing Steve Rogers.
Right. Again, they do a good job to acclimatize you.
Right.
To things, and I think they also do a good job to basically hint at a person's abilities through association.
Correct.
Because all these guys are afraid of Thanos. And you're thinking, but Ebony Maw is like fucking. Are you serious? He's killing. He's basically fighting 4 powerhouses by himself.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And doing it easily. It's like. And then obviously when Vision got attacked. I don't know if that was in that section too.
What is it? Like Corvus Clave and Proxima Midnight.
Yeah.
Which are like 2 really badass characters in the comics.
But they're handling Vision and Scarlet Witch, who we established are 2 powerhouses.
The two, because they're like the big guns.
So it's like you're seeing these guys being so intimidating and so powerful. And you're thinking, oh shit, if they're so powerful, then Thanos has to be a fucking monster. Which he shows up to proves to be.
He proves to be right
at the end of the film.
But like Vision had a bad time throughout this film. Because he got fucked up. He just like started like had a very like sweet moment with his girlfriend and just got shanked in the back. Like, and that was him for the film. He was just like limping.
You were
turning. From there, he was done.
Yeah, leaking fluids. Yeah, he was done. Like he was a very much just the guy that needed help for it. Which kind of I figure was a bit of a handicap, because if he was in tip-top shape, it would have been a different story. But like he got shanked really hard.
It depends, because like I think Doctor Strange was arguably the most powerful good guy on the team. He actually demonstrated how powerful he was. Yep. It's just that the way this film is structured, by the time these guys fight Thanos, like if he saw Thanos earlier, maybe they would have had a better chance.
Yeah, I feel like Strange would have probably like taken, because Strange took down Thanos when he had like
4 of them, right?
4 gems.
4 gems. It's like, yo, if he met him probably earlier, this probably would have been done already. But
right.
The film is paced so well. It's like characters come into play when obviously I can tell people this is Thanos' movie, so. He's the one that's moving towards the goal. He's the person that's moving forward. So it is his movie. As he gets more powerful, as he gets closer to what he wants, it's like when the good guys come in, they're already at a point where they're not a threat, or they're not as much of a threat as if they would have come originally.
Because as we had mentioned that, that like that, you know, because they said like no, this is really like Killmonger broke their Marvel movie curse, their villain curse, but Thanos is the one that really just like showed that they're on the right path.
Correct.
And the same thing they did with Killmonger, they did with him, is that I think they did it better with Thanos. Is that this was his movie? He was a hero.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to make a good villain, they were like, "We just made the villain the hero,
Exactly.
and then just like work backwards from there." And I find that like what he was going for, because you didn't find out later on. Because at the beginning, he just seemed like this very sadistic individual. But as the film goes on, like you kind of see his point of view, and it's not like malicious. It's not like he just wants to take over the world. Is not he just doesn't want to take over the universe. He wants to save the universe, right?
Because he saw his own home planet going to ruin.
Correct.
Because the same idea he proposed.
Correct.
So how do you guys feel about that as comic book fans, knowing the original story where he did everything just to please death and
So you had to tell me about that before.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that version of the film of Thanos' backstory?
Right. Well,
That's so ridiculous.
Well, I told
From what
you.
he told me.
Well, I told you about that, right? And I said like, Infinity Gauntlet. I was telling everyone this. Infinity Gauntlet, the comic, is a love story. It's a love story about a man who like attains power to like be with someone that he wants to be, but in attaining that power, he then reveals himself to be not what. Apparently, like I said, like death wanted him before this power. Like he now grew so powerful that he couldn't be with the woman he loved. Right, so he was above her in class, in stature, in power, and the rest of the comic is him just kind of like begging and pleading with death to like accept him. Like please love me. So he fights. Because like the heroes come to fight him, and the only reason he accepts to fight them, despite the fact that he could just like kill them with the flick of his finger, the flick of the wrist, is like he was like, well, I want to please this woman, right? So he decides to fight the heroes and risk losing his godhood so that he can please death.
So do you think that was a bit too comic bookish for the audience of the MCU, or is it?
I think it was a bit. I don't think that's something that the audience would like see as like a good motivation.
I don't think anyone would be able to sympathize with him at that point.
Because like it's like well, Thanos works within a comic book setting because comic books are more like extreme and more like fantastical.
Yeah,
especially like with stories involving Thanos, right? But there's been like two different versions of his motivations because like Infinity Gauntlet is about his love for death, but like there's a story that takes place within Silver Surfer and Thanos' quest that shows like his search for the stones and his initial motivations, and it's very much tied to what it was in the movies. When he explained to Silver Surfer that like the universe is too overpopulated. He explained to him like a cause of like what would happen in that case, right? Like life is like outpacing death, and that can lead to disaster. So he like took Silver Surfer to like Japan, for example, and he was like, this is just like Japan in rush hour, right? There's nothing dangerous about this. And he was like, but it's overpopulated. And let me take you to another place, right? That's overpopulated. So he took him to this like alien world, right? Just showed him like the people in this world like have no predator, right? Like life is in abundance, death is very scarce. And what happens now when a catastrophe happens, right? They have no way to prepare for it, and they're all going to die out. So if you like introduce a little bit of death there, right? Show them the natural order, they will build defenses to that. They'll be able to protect themselves more.
So he kind of matches Ultron's motivation then.
Correct, but in a way that's more coherent.
Yeah.
And it's also the fact is like he had more emotion to him because you saw like he wanted. His love for Gamora was very key to this. So I want to point out, like, also, like, this is Thanos' story, but, like, this is such a good story that it has, like, a lot of good characters that benefit from it. Key in that is, like, Gamora. Because Gamora, like, really benefited from the story. Because you saw, like, hints of it in Guardians of the Galaxy, how, like, her parentage was this big issue for her. That she had this abusive father. But then you kind of saw his side of it and how she felt about it. And like in a way, she still kind of loved Thanos. Yeah, it's complicated. You have complex emotions for your parents sometimes, even though your parents might do the worst things. Which is like another testament to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's like kind of a bad movie, but with a good heart.
Yeah, a good intention.
I also like, there's like Gamora had like a very good showing in this. Who else? Like Scarlet Witch also like had a really good showing out of this film.
Yeah,
And I'm also like Doctor Strange. I think I like Doctor Strange here more than I liked him in this movie.
Because he's actually Doctor Strange in this movie.
Yeah.
He isn't Doctor Strange until the end of the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, so it's like an origin story for his.
Yeah, it's like Iron Man. But people compare Iron Man to like.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think like seeing Doctor Strange and Iron Man, it kind of brings on the point that they're really not
They're
the
not
same.
the same.
They're very different. Like Strange was sick of 20 bullets from the beginning. He lasted like all of 2 minutes before he was like, yeah, Nimrod, like I protect reality. Yeah. So like,
I'm on a different level.
Yeah, I'm on a different level too. Yeah. So like we get to like the reality gem. This is where like we getting into like when Thor meets the Guardians. So what was that like for you, Zach? Like that initial like interaction as someone who hadn't seen all the films.
Yeah, because again I only knew so much about the relationship between the Guardians in general. Like I think at the end of the Guardians Galaxy 1 is when he got together with Gamora. Is that when that happened?
No, they never got together.
They never got together.
Well, not together.
They always have sexual tension.
Yeah,
right, whatever it
but
was.
But that was when he did like give the Power Stone over to Xandar.
Right.
Which is when like Thanos appears on the Asgardian ship with the Power Stone. Like, he reveals that he raised Xandar for it.
Okay.
Right.
How's this dude still alive? He is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man. A handsome, muscular man.
It's like his muscles are made of Kotati metal fibers.
Stop massaging his muscles. Wake him up. Who are you guys?
Like pretty was like one of my favorite parts of the films. Like obviously like seeing them there and like again like we already established that Chris Hemsworth is like a really good comedic actor.
Yeah.
So it seemed like mixing like with like the comedy team. It was very fun. Like it was one of my favorite parts of the film. Seeing him interact with Rocket as well. It was also like
The
really,
rabbit.
it was also like a real treat. Rabbit.
How about Rocket be the mature one in the group?
Yeah, because that's that
Thor.
right. They have that moment when like, he stops and like, you sure like you okay to be like coming in for this? Like, it seems like you've gone through a lot that you haven't taken the time to process. So that was like that was a very cool moment to see there where he's just like kind of like stepping aside and being like a friend for Thor.
Yeah.
I like their interactions a lot. So much so that I kind of wouldn't mind if Thor shows up in Guardians 3.
I do need to watch 2 at some point though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like another one of the guys, like let me go. Like my favorite part of the film is that when they get to Wakanda. I mean, it's kind of the moment that we were waiting for. Those trailers kind of made it seem like Wakanda was going to be like a big deal, a big part of where the film takes place. It kind of wasn't, but
it was and it wasn't.
Even still, it was one of like the hypest moments.
Yeah.
But before we get to that though, we today one important element. Peter Parker, your boy.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Peter was y'all really don't know how good we have it right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, y'all never gonna get a Spider-Man as good again. Like never.
Yeah.
This is like through and through him. It's every way for the fact that he like when he kept on holding on to Doctor Strange, and he got sucked into the ship. There's one thing he says: you can't be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is Peter. This is him. Like even like when it's over his head, like, he has that to a fault. He's gonna follow through and just do the right thing.
And I think another thing that they sell this version of Spider-Man I love a lot is that they show how fragile he is. He's a superhero, but he's also very fragile. And when he takes blows, it looks like it really, really hurts.
Yeah. Oh, and it's useful. I mean, the fact is like his movie references have been a thing. But he's like, you ever seen that old movie Aliens? I I didn't get. I was like, how does this come into play?
And then
it was when he like blew him through the blaster. I was like,
They even had the actual pose from the Queen.
Yeah.
They had every man doing that same
I was
pose.
like, this is the most ridiculous way you can beat in this match.